Our next speaker, telling us about a tale of doubles, is Naneh Hovhannisyan, which I hope I've pronounced correctly. And yeah, I'm sure she can tell us if I haven't. If you're welcome to the stage, please.
That was perfect. Excellent. Hi. Many of you will know people from other cultures or countries living in the street, working in the office. It's tempting to look at their lives at a superficial level and assume that if, for instance, they're from a poorer place and now live comfortably, that all their problems are solved. Well, I'm one of those people, and I'd like to share a few insights into what it's like to straddle, in my case, 3 cultures. I was born in Armenia, back when it was part of the USSR. People assume I'm Russian, but the truth is that, like millions of former Soviet citizens, I was steeped in a dual existence, Armenian and Soviet, read Russian. So I grew up bilingual. A native Armenian speaker, I had to study Russian, the language of the Soviet Empire, for which I'm eternally grateful. I mean, who wouldn't want to read Tolstoy's War and Peace in the original? 16 years ago, I moved to England, where I knew no more than 6 people. At first, there's euphoria. I planned to slot into the society, work hard, and get on. And make my folks proud for prospering in foreign lands. Slowly, you start to adapt. You get your first taste of tea with milk. You start to dream in a new language. Congratulations, you now belong to more than one place. Except not quite. You're an observer, critiquing, questioning, comparing and contrasting back and forth. You soon discover that a vast layer of your cultural heritage is virtually redundant. Favorite quotes from films and books, practically lost in translation or discarded. So what you do is you just blend in as another foreign face. Some people think I'm French. I mean, is it a compliment in this country? Armenian, Albanian, Romanian. Someone actually said to me, Armenian now. I met a Polish lady the other day. Is that the same? So what happens is you assume a persona, hide certain habits, learn the unwritten rules, and carry your rosy homeland with you, freezing the guilt for leaving it behind and aching to pay it back. You also discover that you have very little shared cultural references or common past with your new compatriots. So you start educating yourself. And in the process, you fall in love with this new place. You're a hybrid now. But loneliness is your frequent companion, though nobody in your new circle realizes that. To them, your higher material standard of living almost makes up for everything. This might be peculiar to first-generation migrants, but you're having to justify your place at the table a lot. Work twice as hard as the natives to show loyalty, but not too hard to be considered selfish or self-serving. And then you revisit your homeland. Those familiar faces and places aren't the same anymore. You find that there are new ways of speaking, new haunts you've missed out on, and you yourself have been transformed through contact with your adopted home. You've learned to love Marmite, or love to hate it, as the case may be. Sometimes we feel like we are expelled from both cultures, other times like we're embraced by the two. So you're on a pendulum swinging from dislike to devotion to them. Having said that, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm a classic in-betweener, missing Britain when in Armenia, and I'm nostalgic for Armenia when I'm here. I suffocate without either. all those years of being an outsider, you realize, at last, have placed you inside a new track, a new way of being, when there is more exhilaration than excruciation in your life. You've developed new eyes. I may have suffered a loss of things I grew up with, but I've become more socially agile and more mentally resilient. You come to embrace the advantages of being cross-cultural, because after all, we may have bridged several countries, but at any point in time, we're only ever building one home. So next time you see that person, what are you going to think about them? Will you think of them at all? I'm Naneh, and I thank you for listening.